But our top story at this moment. All's not well with Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's visit to the United States. Not only has Pakistan's Kashmir agenda been thwarted by the White House, now a Pakistani journalist has allegedly been heckled by officials accompanying Nawaz Sharif to the United States. Why has that happened? Well, this is why. A report in Pakistan's ARY news channel quoted the reporter Sami Ibrahim as saying that he faced harassment after reporting that Sharif requested the US State Department that he in fact be treated with respect during his meeting with John Kerry. The US Secretary of State had apparently been a little firm with Nawaz during his earlier visit in September. According to reports, this was because the US felt Pakistan was not doing enough to tackle terrorism and the Haqqani network. Okay, we've got Kaswar Kalasara, India Today's Kaswar Kalasara joining us from Islamabad. Gaurav Sawant is with us, as well as Mr. Sushant Sareen with us. Mr. Sareen, I'll come to you in just a short moment. Let me just get in a voice from our correspondent in Islamabad. Kaswar, first of all, you were telling us that Sami Ibrahim is a very decorated journalist. He's a very seasoned journalist, and he minces no words. He is very straightforward with whatever he actually has to say. Now, why did the Pakistani establishment choose to heckle him in such a way when he was speaking what he did? And in a way, he exposes what the Pakistan establishment's foreign policy really is.
Let me tell you, no doubt, as you have rightly pointed out, he is a seasoned and a very well-respected Pakistani journalist who have been staying in the United States as well. He has been reporting for Pakistan's largest media group, Jung Group and Geo Group from United States. And he's no doubt a seasoned journalist. But one thing is very much clear. That is, either it's a mid-career journalist, internally reporter, or a seasoned journalist. There are chances for them to having baseless reports from the sources as well. So, right at the moment, all of the information what we are getting is coming from Sami Ibrahim's sources. So we will have to wait until the Pakistani government come up with their version on Sami's report as well. So there is no credential to this report, and according to my sources, I have checked with my Pakistan-based sources and US-based sources as well. They argue that the Pakistani government or the Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has made no such request to White House administration or to their diplomats.
That's so obvious, isn't it?
They have not requested their diplomats to do this stuff for them as well. But at the moment, what we are getting, every information is coming from a single source, that is Sami Ibrahim. And there is no doubt about his credibility. He is a seasoned journalist, very well-respected member of Pakistani journalist community.
Kaswar, if you could share his phone number with us, we would like here at India Today to perhaps speak to him as well. We'll let you go so that you can share it with our team backstage. In the meanwhile, we'll go across to Gaurav Sawant. Gaurav, before I come across to you, let me get in a word from Mr. Sushant Sareen. Mr. Sareen, number one, Pakistan could not really achieve much through its talks with the United States. They had a lot on the agenda, a lot of anti-India agenda, and that clearly did not work. And at a time like this, you have a Pakistani journalist who says that when US is saying act on terror, Pakistan is saying give us respect. What is more important for Pakistan? Exchanging pleasantries or acting on terror?
A couple of things. Number one, the anti-India agenda is very important for Pakistan because that's what keeps Pakistan alive. That is one part. Secondly, about the credibility of the journalist, the less said, the better. We all know, who pulls his strings and from where. And there is no great revelation in what he said about how Mr. Kerry was addressing him, because last Sunday there was an article in the Dawn by a former Pakistan diplomat who again revels in anti-India hostility, who had written precisely this thing in that article, and everybody, all the so-called embedded journalists in Pakistan have latched on to that and have used it as a propaganda point against Nawaz Sharif. So this is part of that. Now, Either Sami Ibrahim, despite living for a number of years in the US, is simply ignorant of how the American system works. And in the American system, once there is a certain degree of familiarity, people tend to come on first name terms. So if Mr. John Kerry, whom a lot of the Pakistani, including Nawaz Sharif and others, both in government as well as in opposition, would continuously woo Mr. Kerry because he was seen to be somebody who was soft on Pakistan, and he used to be traveling constantly to Pakistan, then it is quite natural for him to be on first name basis with Nawaz Sharif, even though he might have become Prime Minister. So he would give him all the decorum, but when they are talking to each other, he would address him on a first name basis. Now, unless Nawaz Sharif has been pushed so much into the corner that he had to ask somebody to go and tell Mr. Kerry that he should address him as Mr. Prime Minister, etc., I don't know. But then I think that says a lot about the kind of weak negotiating stance and the weak political position that Nawaz Sharif is in. But other than that, it is a storm in a teacup which is trying to be manufactured to push Nawaz Sharif against the wall. As far as his talks with the Americans is concerned, I think there's a lot of verbiage, but very little substance in what all has been discussed. Now, neither Mr. Obama can be pushing India around to get onto the talks table with Pakistan, and I don't see how any government in India is going to continue to depend upon these verbal assurances and these so-called resolves of the Pakistanis to crack down on the Jamaat-ud-Dawa / Lashkar-e-Taiba, notwithstanding the fact that over the last 6 or 7 years since the Jamaat-ud-Dawa Lashkar-e-Taiba have been banned by the UN, the Pakistanis have not even lifted a small finger to shut them down. So Mr. Nawaz Sharif giving such an assurance 7 years later means absolutely nothing.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Mr. Sushant Sareen, for joining us at this moment. Gaurav, let's now go across to Gaurav Sawant, who joins us on the phone line. Gaurav, at a time when Pakistan is struggling to put its point across and is under tremendous amount of pressure from world community leaders who have completely isolated their agenda of foreign policy, it's not really surprising to know that what tops their foreign policy agenda is the fact that they be given respect.
At this point of time, these are mind games being played within Pakistan. This is the Pakistan Army and the ISI that appear to be putting Nawaz Sharif in his place. This further curtails his powers and the respect that he may have enjoyed despite the mandate he got. So these are internal mind games in Pakistan. You remember, Americans talk on first name basis. India's Prime Minister,
absolutely.
Narendra Modi and US President Barack Obama, they are on first name basis. If you recall, the Prime Minister calling him Barack and so on. This is something that Pakistan is well aware of. This is a story that, the fact that John Kerry supposed to have banged the table and said that Pakistan is not doing enough when it comes to the Haqqani network and targeting of US forces in Afghanistan. Look, this latest attack on Kunduz, where ISI operatives were found inside that hospital, all of that is where Pakistan is in the dock. So it's Pakistan's army that is in the dock, but they're trying to shift the focus to Pakistan's civilian leadership under Nawaz Sharif. These are internal mind games being played out. When Nawaz gets back to Pakistan, you'll see how diminished his position is, because as far as foreign policy is concerned, it's been a complete disaster for Pakistan. Whether the issue was Kashmir, internationalizing Kashmir, getting India for talks, or even cracking down on terror, the so-called 3 dossiers that Pakistan gave to America. America has not even acknowledged those dossiers. So it's a complete disaster for Pakistan and major trouble for Nawaz Sharif when he gets back home.
All right, Gaurav Sawant, many thanks for joining us at this moment, as well as Kaswar Kalasra from Islamabad.